Hello everyone. So today let's discuss about the next part of the cell, the unit of life. Okay. Earlier actually we have discussed already about the cell wall and the cell membrane. So now let's go and discuss about the next part. So just immediately next to the cell membrane is a jelly like substance, semi-fluid mass of protoplasm, which is known as the cytoplasm. Okay, now as you can see this structure here, inner content, this is a matrix, okay, jelly like matrix, which we call as the cytoplasm. So this is present in case of every cell. So this cytoplasm, it consists of basically two parts. One is the cytosol and other is the cell organelles. So what is actually cytosol? Cytosol is also known as the cytoplasmic matrix, or it is known as the hyaloplasm. That means the fluid part, okay, and the other part, that is the cell organelles, like you can see here, the mitochondria, then chloroplast, okay, endoplasmic reticulum, all these other substances or organelles, they come under the second part, and the first part is the liquid part, fluid part, which is called as the cytosol. Now this cytosol, it actually exists in two states. One is called the sol and other is called the gel. Okay, now sol is called the plasma sol. Plasma sol is present in the internal part and it is also known as the endoplast. Whereas the gel, which is also called as the plasma gel, it is just present immediately next to the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. Now this dotted structure, this indicates the plasma membrane. Just next to that is the plasma gel, and within the inner portion, that is the endoplast or the plasma zone. Okay, now this particular cytoplasmic matrix, it main functions are that it consists of different types of raw materials for various synthesis processes. Okay, then they help in exchange of substances, they form some products of cell organelles, these are passed into this matrix, they act as the site for synthesis of different biochemicals like carbohydrates, proteins, coenzymes, etc. Then they help in cytoplasmic streaming movement also they show, okay, and some particular catabolic activities like glycolysis, anaerobic respiration, these particular structures of processes takes place within this cytosol. Okay, so this is a very important part. Now after this we come to the cell organelle. Now when we are talking about the cell organelle, that means here all these structures are included. But first of all, let's discuss about the endomembrane system. Endomembrane system, it is a grouping of actually protein trafficking membrane organelles which together function in a coordination. Okay, they all together function in a coordination and they are called as endomembrane system. Now this includes the endoplasmic reticulums, Golgi complex, okay, lysosomes are present, and then vacuole. Okay, these are the main organelles which are included under the endomembrane system. Now first of all discuss about the endoplasmic reticulum. Now in this structure you can see these lines, these are the endoplasmic reticulum. They are also called the skeleton of the cell. It was first of all discovered by Porter and Thomson, but the name endoplasmic reticulum was given by Porter in the year 1953. Now, what is actually endoplasmic reticulum? It is a three-dimensional, complicated and interconnected system of membrane-lined channels. That means these are some channels which are lying scattered or in together in the cytoplasm, and so we consider it to be the skeleton. That means it is responsible for a proper structure of the particular cell. So that's why we are considering it as the skeleton. Now, as you can see here, this is the structure of the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, now the endoplasmic reticulum, actually it is divided into two different spaces or two compartments. Now, if we consider the portion present within these tubules, okay, or within these boundaries, then this particular structure or inner space is known as the luminal space. Okay, and that which is present outside these structures are called the extraluminal space. That means this is the extra part, this is the luminal part. Okay, now basically the structure of endoplasmic reticulum consists of three parts. One is called the cisternae, other is the tubules, and then third one is the vesicle. Now cisternae, these are actually flat interconnected sac-like parts, okay, which are about 40 to 50 nanometer in diameter, and they are found in bundles. Now as you can see in the diagram itself, they are arranged in stacks. Okay, they are arranged in bundles, and even in the cell they appear in this particular structure. Now they are involved in synthetic activity. That means they are responsible for synthesis of certain substances. Then next come the tubules. Tubules, these are actually tube-like extensions which are connected with the cisternae or the vesicles. They are irregular, or sometimes they be regular. Now this almost it is something like regular, this is a irregular structure, so they may be of different types. Okay, they may be branched, they may be unbranched. Their diameter is about 50 to 100 nanometers. Okay, then third one is the vesicle. These are round sac-like structures which are 25 to 500 nanometer. That means some are very small, some are very large. So different structures are present, and these vesicles, they remain isolated in the cytoplasm, and they are called microsomes also. Okay, now when you are observing this structure, you are seeing that some type of parts of the endoplasmic reticulum, some red like droplet like structures or some structures are present, while in some others it is absent. That means some extra structures or granules are present, and based on the presence and absence of these granules, that is the ribosomes, the endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two parts. One is called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and other is called the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now the structure in which the ribosomes are present, that is called the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and that in which the ribosomes are absent, that is known as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, now these particular structures, they provide larger space to the surface inside the cell. They function as the cytoskeleton. Okay, already we are telling that these are the skeleton like structures. Okay, then they act as the means of quick intracellular transport mechanism. They help in passing of substances from one part to another through structures like desmotubules which are present in plasmodesmata. Okay, they even give rise to vacuoles. Then it gives the membrane of the Golgi apparatus. So there are different functions, so go through the functions properly. Okay, and you have to remember them properly. Okay, so next, after this endoplasmic reticulum, we come to the second organelle, that is the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi body. As you can see, this is the structure of the Golgi apparatus. Okay, now this apparatus was actually first of all studied by Camillo Golgi, and according to his name, the name was assigned as the Golgi complex or Golgi apparatus. Now this Golgi apparatus, it appears or it is present in prokaryotic cells, absent in prokaryotic cells and is present in eukaryotic cells, but exceptional cases are there. That means it is absent in case of sieve tubes of plant, sperms of bryophytes and pteridophytes, and RBCs of the mammals. Okay, otherwise it is present in almost all type of eukaryotes. Now they are basically either they appear single or they remain together forming a complex like structure. Now this is what is a complex. Okay, now in plant cells, actually the Golgi apparatus, it is formed by a number of unconnected units which are known as the dictyosomes. And this particular structure of Golgi body, it has basically 4 types. One is called the cisternae. These are the cisternaes. These are the vesicles. These are the tubules, and these are vacuoles. Okay, that means the Golgian vacuoles. Now let us see what these structures are. Cisternae, these are stack of long sac-like structures. Okay, these are also known as the sacules. Now these are almost about okay, now these sac-like structures, they encloses a particular lumen, okay, which is of about 60 to 90 Armstrong. Now this lumen, it contains a fluid like matrix within its structure. Okay, and they form or they just lie parallel to one another. Now these particular sacules or the cisternae, they have 2 phases. One is the cis phase or the forming phase, formative phase, and other is the maturing phase or the trans phase. Now this is the cis phase or the formative phase, whereas this one is the maturing phase. As you can see in the diagram itself, the forming phase and the maturing phase. Okay, now the second structure, that is the tubule. These are the tubules which are present in the Golgi apparatus. They are forming complicated networks towards the periphery, and they help they are interconnected with different cisternaes. Then next is the vesicles. Okay, these are the vesicles, as you can see in the diagram itself. These vesicles, there are sac-like structures, smaller in size. Okay, and they are mostly present at the tip of the tubules. So in here you can see that this is the tubule. So at the tip portions, they are vesicles are present. Some vesicles remain coated and some are without coat. Then the fourth structure is the Golgian vacuole. Golgian vacuole, these are the vacuoles which are present in Golgi apparatus. Okay, now they are extended portions of the cisternae. So the cisternae just get extended and forms the Golgi vacuoles. These vacuoles actually develop from the maturing phase. They contain amorphous and granular substances. Okay, and so this is all about the structure of the Golgi apparatus. Now this structure, it helps in secretion of different substances, then helps in formation of or production of hormone, then they help in synthesis of pigments, glycolipids and glycoproteins are being synthesized here. Even they help in formation of acrosome, then they help in formation of cell wall during cell division. So there are different functions. You can go through them, and if any problem, then I am there to clear it. Okay, then we come to the third endomembrane system, that is the lysosome. So when we are talking about lysosome, actually here a term comes, that is the suicide bag. The lysosome was actually first of all discovered by Christian de Duve, but the name was assigned by Novikov. Okay, now this is actually small vesicles bounded by a single membrane which we call, okay, and it has a lots and lots of enzymes. These enzymes help them to digest the different substances within a cell. And sometimes what happens, the presence of a large number of digestive enzymes and acid hydrolysis, sometimes they themselves get digested due to the presence of this extra or excess of digestive enzyme. That's why we call them as the suicide bags. Okay. Now this lysosome structure, when we are going through that, then we come across a term that is polymorphism. That means the lysosome, it has different morphological forms, okay, for which it is known as polymorphism. Now what are the different structures? First of all is the primary lysosome. Primary lysosome, which is actually formed as a pinch of structure from the Golgi apparatus. Now within the cell, this is the Golgi apparatus. From this, a pinched out side structure develops, which is known as the primary lysosome. It contains hydrolytic enzymes, okay, which helps in digestion. The next one is the heterophagosomes, as you can see in the diagram, or the secondary lysosomes. Now these are formed by the fusion of the food containing phagosomes. So the phagosomes, they will contain the food, and all these assemble together to form the heterophagosome. Okay. Now here also different digestive enzymes are there, which will help in digestion. And finally, the left out undigested food is present in this heterophagosomes. Then third one is the residual body. As you can see here, this is the residual body. This is actually the structure in which the undigested food materials are found, okay. And the residual bodies here, or the lysosomes, they pass outwardly and fuse with the plasma membrane to throw the debris out. That means they will gradually go and finally get attached to the plasma membrane, fuse with it, and finally just throw away the unwanted particles or the debris. That is the ephagi. The process is known as ephagi. Okay. Here what happened, these residual bodies, they are sometimes responsible for causing pathological diseases also, like storage disease, hepatitis, Pompe's disease, Hurler's disease, okay. So they are, though they are helping, but sometimes they may also cause this type of diseases. Then the fourth one is the autophagic vacuoles, or these are known as the autophagosomes. Now autophagic vacuoles, here they are produced by the fusion of a number of primary lysosomes. So as you can see, primary lysosomes, they come together, they fuse, and finally they form the autophagosomes. So these structures, they perform the functions of autophagy. That means the cell debris are digested here. It helps even in the disposal of the debris, that is the dead cells, worn out cells, okay, or aged cells, and hence they are also termed as the disposal bags. Okay, here we are getting two terms. One is the suicidal bags and other is the disposal bag. Now these structures, they perform autolysis. That means a self-destruction of the cell, tissue or organs. That means with the help of these lysosomes, due to their performing autolysis, so sometimes what happen, they destroy or destruct the cell. That's why that particular function is known as autolysis. Now as we are repeatedly telling that these particular structures, whatever we are seeing here, now you can see here in the diagram itself, the substances are entering, food particles, phagosomes are capturing them. Then from the Golgi body, primary lysosomes are produced. Then they form secondary lysosomes. They will digest the parts of the food. Residual bodies, they, with the help of ephagi, send out these substances, okay. Or else sometime the autophagosomes or the autophagic vacuoles, they will also engulf the debris and will help in disposal of these particular structures. That means ultimately these lysosomes help to remove the unwanted parts within the cell structure. Now basically we are telling that here lots and lots of enzymes are produced, so definitely they will help in digestion. intracellular digestion, extracellular digestion, all these functions are performed by the lysosome. Okay, that means everything is being digested or removed. The cell debris, these are removed by the lysosome itself. Then last one what we come is the vacuole. So when we are talking about vacuole, that means an empty space, isn't it? We are drawing a plant cell, in between we are drawing a space like this with nothing. That is the vacuole. So these particular vacuoles, they are of different types. Normally they consist of the unwanted or left out parts present in the cell are getting deposited in this portion. Okay, so there are basically 4 type of vacuoles: sap vacuole, contractile vacuole, food vacuole, and air vacuole. The sap vacuole, it is the fluid filled vacuole. It is surrounded by a membrane which is known as the tonoplast. Okay, the outer membrane of the vacuole. Here fluid is present. Now these are present in normally animal cells and young plant cells. The fluid which is present, we call it as the sap. It consists of mineral salt, sugar, amino acid, ester, protein, waste products, water, etc. Okay, all these things, they just get deposited over here forming the sap. The next one is the contractile vacuole. Okay, as you can see here, this contractile vacuole, this is present in case of protistan and some type of algae. They has a highly extensible and collapsible membrane. Okay, these, that means the feeding canal that is which will bring the food particles and will just release it in the cytoplasm, that which is then poured to the contractile vacuole. Okay, so these particular structures have extension and collapsing membranes, due to which they help in, they engulf the structures and help in absorbing all these food particles. Okay, or whatever is waste products which are left in the cytoplasm, they will engulf and they will swell. That is the diastole occurs. Then finally what happened, they vacuole, the swollen vacuoles, they come in contact with the plasma membrane and here they collapse, and then this is known as the systole. Okay, so they, with this mechanism, they just help in removing of these substances. Then the food vacuoles, these are normally occurring in protozoan, protist, lower organisms. Okay, they are formed by the fusion of phagosomes. It contains digestive enzymes, help in digestion of the nutrients. Then last one is the air vacuoles, which are also known as the gas vacuoles. They are present in prokaryotes, and these particular structures, actually they help in providing buoyancy, mechanical strength, and protection from harmful radiations. So these are all about the endomembrane system. We have got here different structures. Okay, 4 different structures: endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, lysosome, vacuole. So go through each and every point very clearly. Go through their, first of all, their discovery, their structure, diagram, and their functions. All these points are important, and if you have any problem, then definitely let me know.